Hey guys, it's Craig here. Welcome back to Vinyl TV. Before we get started on our topic for today, which is showing you some of my equipment that I use to listen to records and stuff, I just wanted to quickly show you my newest addition to my vinyl collection. Paul McCartney Tug of War reissue on 180 gram vinyl. It is a gatefold, but I'm not going to unfold it because it's inside this nice protective sheet, cover. And there's the back. This thing sounds amazing. I borrowed this on CD from a friend of mine back in the 80s and probably taped it onto a cassette. And I did like the album a lot. Recently decided to acquire it on vinyl. And the quality of this thing is so amazing. I've listened to it twice now. One on that turntable and one on the other one beside it. Two different cartridges, and just love it. I might give it a third listen. So, if you like Paul McCartney, this is I love this album. It's awesome. Sounds amazing. The quality is incredible. So, okay. So what I wanted to talk about was just to, sit and have a little chat with you about some of the equipment that I'm running down here for various things that I do, and I've been asked to do this, so here we are. As far as vinyl listening, you know that I have these two Fluence turntables, and I love them. They sound, I'm happy. They sound amazing. I'll get a better shot of them here. And it's nice to have them both because what I've done is I've put my Audio-Technica AT440 MLA cartridge on this turntable, the RT81, and I've left the Ortofon 2M Blue on the RT85, which replaced the 2M Red. So I have two excellent cartridges here. They have slightly different tonal quality. They both track very well, and they both have certain characteristics that I love. So it's nice to be able to just plop the record onto whichever turntable I'm in the mood for and listen. But, not everybody has that advantage, of course, and these turntables are easy to change the cartridge anyway because they just unscrew. Just take the head shell off and put another one on and adjust the weight. So it's very easy. So those are my main listening turntables. I do have a third turntable here, but that's not my listening turntable. And I'll explain more about that a little later on. It pertains to another whole thing. So from these turntables, I have a Nico Beta 20, is it? I think. I'm not looking at it, so I can't see. Preamplifier. This I got at Value Village, a thrift store, for $15. Yep, somebody just dropped it off. Didn't know the price. People didn't know what they were doing, and I got it for a really good price. And it works. It's a nice amplifier. It's got. It's not an amplifier. It's a preamplifier, and it has the different settings for the impedance for the cartridges. I think it's 47K and 100K. I tend to run it at 100K. I just think you get a little bit of a brighter sound. But, some people prefer the warmer sound. So it just depends. And it also has a moving coil option, too, if I ever, decide to go that route, which I doubt, but you never know. So, of course, it's got all the inputs for tape and, tuner and all that stuff. It doesn't have a CD input because the CD players weren't around back then when this was made. From there, normally you'd go into an amplifier, and I do have a matching amplifier, which is right here, and a matching equalizer on top of it. I also picked these up very cheaply at the thrift store, and actually the equalizer I got off of Craigslist, but the amplifier I got off the thrift store, and they work. So currently I'm not using them because the speakers that I'm running are powered speakers, which were given to me, were donated to me from a good friend of mine. They're Alesis near-field monitors, and they sound fantastic. You can see one of them right up there, and the other one's over there. So, and they sound really good. They've got an excellent bass response and really crisp highs. Very accurate sound, and hey, I was lucky enough to get them for free. So I've done very well with my stereo setup. It's all together. It's only outside of the turntable. It's cost me very little. So I'm very lucky, and I'm very happy with the sound of it. It's not an audiophile setup, but I've never had an audiophile setup. I've never, had the money for that, and nor the room or the space or the acoustics So yeah, I'm very happy with the sound of it. Sounds awesome. Now, as far as listening goes, yes, I do listen through the speakers, but most of the time I listen through headphones. These are my new AKG K240 headphones. These are studio standard all around the world, and they sound awesome. Detachable cable, and they just fit well. They're self-adjusting, and they sound so natural. They don't have a lot of pumping, booming bass like some people, if you're listening to hip-hop or something like that, you might want to go for something, like the Beats headphones or whatever. But for natural, clean, flat reproduction, I love these headphones. They're just ones I picked. I do have another pair of headphones that I did use for a long time, a little bit similar, AKG K142s, sort of the little sister to the K240s. They both work very well. And these ones are great for editing and just doing, standard work on the computer. And these ones are really nice for listening to music. So that's what I use there. I love headphones when I'm listening to vinyl. But I do use the speakers as well. So that's my vinyl chain, my audio chain. I have the record cleaning brush and all that stuff I've showed you before. This is probably going to need replacing soon. I clean them, every time I play a record, I clean it first. And of course the stylus cleaner, which is an absolute must. Whether you use one of these or, the magic eraser or whatever, you need to have one of these because the stylus gets dirty. It works very well. I've looked at the stylus under the microscope, or both before and after using this, and it's perfect. So you got to have that. So I usually clean the stylus before and after every record side. Okay, so keep that stylus clean. It's very important. I stack my records on a wooden shelf over there. It's not the best, but it works. And I don't have a lot of records, so it's fine for me for now. And I don't have a lot of space down here to get anything bigger at this time. So I'm not really I don't hoard records. I buy what I want to hear and what I think I will listen to fairly regularly, or, so every so often. But I'm not just like, oh, I gotta have that. Oh, I gotta have that. Oh, I gotta have that. I'm not like that. So I buy the records that I think I need to own, and all my favorites and whatnot. So that's why I don't have a lot. So as far as other equipment goes, the amplifier I have here that I showed you just a minute ago, it does work, and it's 200 and something watts, 220 watts, I think. So if I ever get a pair of, passive speakers with enough oomph to them, I certainly wouldn't have a problem, hooking them up and blowing the roof off this place. But, I don't use this thing right now, but it's there if I ever need it, and so I won't be getting rid of it anytime soon. I do have a CD player, and it's a Sony Carousel 200 disc CD player. This, again, I got at the thrift store, and it works. So I've got all my CDs in there. I don't have a lot of CDs either. Again, I only bought the CDs that I wanted. So there's about 105 or 110 CDs in here. And you just, you have to know which CD is in which slot, and you just pick the one you want to hear, and boom, it's like a little jukebox. It's awesome. So on the way up above that, I have something that's not really audio related, although it is music related. It's a Roland U220 synthesizer module, which you would hook up to a keyboard, and it's got lots of great sounds in it. And I've used this on many recordings, many of my own music recordings. So I got it for cheap, and it's a vintage synthesizer, and I'll never get rid of it. As well as my Yamaha DX7, which I've had since I was 18, and this thing has seen many, many love songs over the past few decades. And so I will never get rid of that. Skipping up above my preamplifier, we have a digital delay unit, which is it's like an echo for vocals and guitars and recording music. And I've had that since I was a teenager as well, and it still works great. Now here we have two cassette decks. The bottom one I purchased when probably around 1985, and it's a TIAC. It's a really good cassette deck. It's got all the different noise reductions on it. Nice buttons, great tape counter, good volume controls, pretty decent meters. And this is not mine right now. Actually, I sold it to a friend of mine a few years after I bought it, and I've borrowed it off of him, and I'm actually negotiating getting it back. So I've offered him some stuff, and we're going to talk about, making a trade for some things that I have around here, including the top cassette deck here, which is a Sony vintage deck. Works very well, sounds awesome. It's got the nice analog meters on it. Above that, we have an analog delay unit, which is used for making echo. Once again, same as the digital delay, but this is an analog unit. It uses bucket brigade technology to create delay sounds for audio recording, like guitar and vocals and things like that. And I've had this since I was a teenager as well, for recording music on my 4-track. And last but not least, at the very top, we have my Microverb digital reverb, which again I've had for decades and used in many of my recordings, which you may have heard. I'm going to put a link to my SoundCloud down below, so if you want to hear some of my older recordings or even a couple of newer ones, they're on there for free for you to download and listen to. Now, regarding this third turntable, this is an Audio-Technica LP 120 USB turntable. And I bought it a few years ago, and it's got some problems. It's the motor. The motor is kind of audible. You can hear the motor while you're playing. Not very loud, but you can hear it enough that it bothers me. So I've demoted it to strictly live broadcasting. So when I do my live show on Friday nights, if I'm going to play vinyl, I'll play it off of this turntable. It has a Ortofon 2M Red cartridge on it, which is fine. That's what that turntable is for, and that's all I'll ever use it for now, because it's not up to the quality of these things. All right, so but it's good enough for spinning tunes on a live show. Speaking of the live show, this is the mixer that I use to mix the microphone and all the audio together. It's a Yamaha, can't remember the model, but you can see it there. 12-channel mixer with USB, and it does an awesome job for me doing my live show. Oh, and one feature I forgot to mention on this bottom cassette deck here is a feature called DBX Disc. And what this allows you to do is, if you can find a record that's recorded with the DBX noise reduction, you can play that record through that cassette deck, and it will decode the DBX encoding. So what that will do is basically remove all the clicks and pops and all the surface noise on a record and leave you with a dead quiet sounding piece of vinyl. I have not found a DBX recorded disc yet. I'm hoping to come across one, but I'd love to try that for you guys and show you how that can sound. So it's just something neat that does, and I've never been able to use it. So hopefully one day I'll be able to try that out. Okay? So anyway, thank you so much for watching and listening, and that's just me sharing with you the stuff that I use down here to make or listen to music. And by the way, I don't make intros for these videos because I don't know. Everyone skips them anyway. So why bother? Anyway, thank you so much for your support. Thumb up, like, comment, share, all that stuff. Subscribe, everything else, ring the bell. You know all that good stuff. And I will see you very, very soon. Keep spinning those big black CDs. And don't forget, vinyl is final. Cheers. Thank you.